morning, class. So let us all stand for an opening prayer. Amen. So, how are you today, class? So, very good. By the way, my name is Teacher Jessa, and I am your teacher for today's lesson. So, is everyone of you are present, class? So, very good. There are no absent. So, before anything else, I would like to introduce to you our classroom agreement. So, please read our classroom rules or agreement. So, very good. So, can I expect this from all of you, class? Very good. So, it seems that you're really excited for today's new lesson. So, before anything else, class, I want to show you something. So, this is a video presentation. So, at the end of the video presentation, I will ask someone to answer all my questions. So, are you ready, class? So, these are the video presentation. So, do you understand the video presentation, class? So, very good. So, now that you've understand the video presentation, so here are my questions. So, what is called when male and female sex cells join? So, anyone can answer. So, yes, very good. Your answer is right. It is called a sexual reproduction. How about number two? What can be produced when male and female sex cells join? So, very good. It is a so very good. Your answer is correct. So number three, this reproduction doesn't need a gamete like female and male sex cells. So what is it? So very good. It is a asexual reproduction. So the last question is, what are the two types of sexual reproduction? So anyone? So very good. It seems that you really understood what are those in the video. So before anything else, what do you think our lesson for today? So very good. It is all about the reproduction among flowering and non-flowering plants. So before anything else, let's all read our learning objectives. So at the end of the lessons, the learner should be able to describe sexual and asexual reproduction in plants, clarify the differences and similarities of sexual and asexual reproduction in plants through Venn diagram, and then last one is appreciate the importance of sexual and asexual reproduction in plants to our environment. So before anything else, I want to group you class into three groups. So all you need to do is I will give you each group a gomamela flowers. Then all you need to do is to dissect the flower. Okay, class? Do you understand, class? So here are the gomamela. Okay. So are you done dissecting the flower? So very good. You are done dissecting the flowers. So before anything else, class, just leave muna the dissecting flowers because we're going to discuss the parts of the flowers. And then all you need to do is to raise the parts of the dissecting flowers if I will say that you raise the part. Okay, class? So very good. So show me the stigma of your dissected flowers. So very good. This okay, the stigma. How about the style? Okay, very good. The anther, the anther and filament. So those are both called stamen. So very good. How about the pistil? Okay, very good. And then the calyx. Okay. Then the ovary and the stem. Okay, very good. So let us all give a hands to ourselves for doing a great job in our activity. So before anything else, I have some questions regarding to your activity, which is dissecting a gomamela flower. So this number one question is, what have you observed to the dissect flowers? So anyone can explain what have you observed to the dissecting flowers? So very good. So good answer. So thank you. Number two, how many parts are there in a gomamela? So let's count all the parts of the gomamela. So we have the stigma, the style, the anther and filament, the petal, the pistil, the calyx, the ovary, and the stem. So all in all, there are 8 parts of the goma in a gomamela flower. So number 3 is, do you think gomamela is sexual or asexual? So anyone from the class? So very good. So and thank you for your answer. So class, gomamela is part of a sexual reproduction. So why? So we were going to find out why gomamela is part of sexual reproduction. Okay, class? Clear? Are we all clear? So very good. So now, class, we're going to discuss the sexual reproduction in plants. So the flower is the reproductive organ of a flowering plant. Some kind of plants have flowers that produce both male and female sex cells. So when we say sexual reproduction in plants, these plants can reproduce both the male and the female sex cells of the flower. So these are the example of the sexual reproduction in plants. So the pollination can take place only plants of the same kind. So number 1 is the pollination. So when an insect or small bird visits a flower, the animal transfers the male sex cells from one flower to another. This transfer is part of the process of sexual reproduction in the flower. So when we say pollination, it needs the insects or the bird, they will transfer the sex cells from the same flower. So the presence of the pollination is seen there to the process of the pollination when the birds or insect will transfer the sex cells of the same flower. So it only be present the if they have the same sexual if they are the same flower. So for example, in gomamela, so the birds or the insects will transfer the sex cells from the same flower, which is the gomamela. So that's why gomamela is part of the sexual reproduction. So number 2 is infertilization. A male sex cell joins with a female sex cells to produce a fertilized egg. And then after that, after the fertilization, the ovules develop into seeds. So after the fertilization, the ovules will develop into seeds. And then the seed contains the embryo. And then the seed, it contains the embryo. So what is the ovule? So ovule develops into mature seeds. So the ovule will develop into mature seeds, while the ovary will develop as a fruit. And then when the fruit is ripened ovary that contains one or more mature seeds. So if the fruit is ripened, then for example in the guava, right? If the fruit of the guava is ripened, then if we eat the guava, 'di ba? We have seen a lot of seeds, 'di ba? So number 4 is when conditions are proper for growth, seeds undergo germination. So what is germination? Germination is the growth of the embryo into a young plant. So after that, the germination will take place. So what is germination? So germination, it is the growth of an embryo into a young plant. So ang seed, pwede na dayon nato siya i-tubo, then it will grow into a young plant. And then, what is asexual reproduction or vegetative propagation in plants? So when we say asexual reproduction, it is many plants that produce seeds can also reproduce by asexual means. Asexual reproduction involves only one parent. So in sexual reproduction, it needs the two gametes, di ba? The female and male sex cells. While the asexual reproduction, it only needs one parent. Asexual reproduction in seed plant is called vegetative propagation. Aside from it is called asexual reproduction, it is also called vegetative propagation in plants. And then it is the development of new plant from a stem, root, or leaf of a parent plant. So of in this type of reproduction, it only needs the stem, the root, and the leaf of a parent plant. And then in this process, there is no union of an egg cell and a sperm cell and no seed forms. So in asexual reproduction plants, it doesn't need the egg cell and the sperm cell, and then there is no need for seed forms. And then number one example of asexual reproduction or vegetative propagation. So number one is use of cuttings. So a cutting is a plant part that has been removed from the parent plant and used to grow a new plant. So from the word itself, cutting. So the root word of it is cut. We cut the flower, the stem, the root, and the leaves. The plant part the plant part used is a cutting that is often a stem with leaves attached. So most likely the cuttings is we will cut the flower sa stem na na ay mga leaves sa stems. Then, or in some other, the cutting may be placed in water, in wet soil, or in some other wet substances. After the cutting, we will not kuan kanang isuludayon siya o i-plant nato diretso. No, we will use first the cutting in it can be placed in watery substances, like in water. We can put it in water, in wet soil, or in other watery substances or wet substances. Once the cutting is planted in soil, it will grow new stems and leaves. So after you put it into wet substances, then you will plant it to the soil. And then if you plant it to the soil, then it will grow new stems and leaves. So it will grow into many na dayon. So example of use of cuttings: sugar cane, the sweet potato or the kamote, and many ornamental plants are grown from stem cuttings. So the many plants that are used for ornamentals, or many plants that are on ornamentals is used by the use of cuttings in plants. So that's all for my part. I hope you learned something. And then let me call to you our new presenter, Miss Dialde. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Good day, class. How are you today? Very good. By the way, my name is Teacher Dialde. Now, let's discuss about use of grafting. A grafting is when two things are bound together in the plant's work. A graft is when two different plants are bound together to produce a better fruit, harvest, or create stronger, healthy plants. That is donation parts to be grafted into another plant is a donor. And next, the grow from corms, bulbs, and tubers. A bulb is made of modified leaves, whereas a tubers is a modified stem. Bulbs and tubers have evolved over time to withstand harsh conditions by entering into a period of dormancy. The function of tubers and bulb is the same. They both underground storage system that procedure flowers and foliage by stockpiling nutrients for plants. Next, the ground from leaves. Example of this is like Bogonia, Katakata, new banana plants, and grapes. This is a propagation by leaves. This is a form of sexual reproduction in which new plants grow from the buds growing on the margin of the leaves. These buds are reproductive in nature and they fall on the ground, they germinate, and from the new plants. We are already done to our topic for today. Any clarification, question from this class? Okay, very good. And now, let's proceed to our activity. And now, I will measure your knowledge about our topic for today. I will group you into 3 groups. Each group of you will make a Venn diagram to classify the difference of sexuals and asexual reproduction in a plant. I will give you 2 minutes to finish your task. And now, let's proceed to another activity. I will group you into 3 groups. I have here a 3 picture. I will give this each group and I will identify the picture and choose one only representative to present. I will give you a 2 minutes to finish your task.
Good day, class. By the way, I'm Teacher Lomang, and now I'm going to discuss about plants reproduction and non-flowering plants. Non-flowering plants have their own ways of reproducing. Some, like mosses and ferns, use spores to create new plants, while others, like certain trees, produce seeds. These different methods help non-flowering plants continue their species, ensure their survival. Among mosses, the mature plant produces spores enclosed in a capsule. When the capsule matures, it breaks open to release the spores, which can develop into new moss plants. This process is a form of asexual reproduction in mosses. The mature moss plant produces spores enclosed in a capsule, and when the capsule breaks open, the spores are released. Mosses can reproduce both sexually and asexually, with the spores germinating into new plants and the sex organs, producing sperms and egg cells for fertilization. This allows mosses to maintain their population and thrive in various environments. Ferns reproduce through spores that are produced on the underside of their leaflets. When these spores land in the moist places, they can germinate into gametophytes, which produce sex cells. After fertilization, a zygote develops into a young fern, plant capable of producing spores. Ferns have practical uses in home decor, landscaping, and can even be consumed as fiddleheads. Conifers, such as pine trees, are found in colder regions and have separate male and female counts. The seeds they produce are not enclosed by a fruit wall. Conifers are valued for their ornamental use and edible fiddleheads they produce. Pine trees are conifers commonly found in colder regions. They have separate male and female counts, and their seeds are not enclosed by a fruit wall. Pine trees are important as a source of lumber, used as ornamental plants, and have fascinating relatives like a giant redwood and bristlecone pine. And now let's move on to our class discussion. I have here some activity. The same group will write the advantages and disadvantages using vegetative propagation or asexual reproduction. Then choose one representative of each group to discuss their answer in front of the class. And after that, I will show you some video from YouTube about different mode of plant reproduction. And now let's move on to our class discussion. I have here some activity. The same group will write the advantages and disadvantages using vegetative propagation or asexual reproduction. Then choose one representative of each group to discuss their answer in front of the class. And after that, I will show you some video from YouTube about different mode of plant reproduction. So now, what have you been observing in the video? What is reproduction? Okay, Neil de la Peña? Okay, very good. Plant reproduction is the production of new offspring in plants which can be accomplished by sexual or asexual reproduction. And what are the different modes of plant reproduction? Yes, Edmar? Okay, very good. Plants have different modes of reproduction. The two main modes are asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Then what is sexual reproduction? Anyone? Okay, consigna. Very good. Sexual reproduction in plants involves the fusion of male and female reproductive cells to produce offspring. And last, what is sexual reproduction? Siskon. Very good. A sexual reproduction is mode of reproduction in which a new offspring is produced by a single parent without the involvement of gamete fusion or changes in the number of chromosomes. So class, we have here some following questions that you need to answer. Test 1. Write the letter of the term that the best matches the definition. Not all the terms can be used. And test 2. In the back of the paper, list the importance of sexual and asexual reproduction of plants to our environment. That's all.